Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. I am Muhammad Yasin. This is virtual class of Pakistan International School, Taif. This class is for the students of grade 10. We are going to do chapter 8 today. In our previous lesson, we read the poem of chapter 8 and did some exercises. We shall do remaining exercises today. This is our 16th video in this class. After today's lesson, we shall be able to write an essay. The topic is television. As I told you before, we shall do remaining exercises of Unit 8. In the same way, we shall do one exercise of direct indirect also. We started it about 2 periods before. We have done 2 classes, I think, about direct indirect. We learned it, we learned the rules, we learned the question form. We shall move forward today in direct indirect. This is the first thing, that is the essay television. This is taken from your grammar book. You are very well aware of the process to write an essay. First of all, you think about the topic, generate ideas, arrange them, write first draft, proof, read it, and then you prepare the final draft to complete your own essay. Anyway, I shall read it for you. Language is easy, try to understand. If you read it a few times, you will memorize it. This is just like a sample. You can add in it, you can leave from it. Let us see what is mentioned here in this essay. Television is one of the marvelous inventions of science. Indeed, it is a magic box. Pictures and images flick across the screen and delight the viewers. The world of news and entertainment is moving very fast. Television and radio have come to stay in our lives. Television programs in general and drama in particular have always fascinated me a lot. I should frankly admit that up to class 8 I would spend much of my time watching different programs, but now I am selective and see only what suits my taste. I know that watching television for long is harmful for the eyesight. Too much exposure to the flickering light damages the sight. Sitting before the set in an awkward position also causes pain in limbs. Neck bone and shoulders are also badly affected. What I like most on TV is the world of nature. No other program can be that wonderful. Each program on nature, animals and landscape gives me a glimpse of the beautiful world. I feel like discovering the world in which I live. I feel I know very little of the vast world of wonderful forms. The World of Nature program gives me a lot of information and understanding. Creation of so many moving objects is one of the sure signs of Allah Almighty. One of the divine name of Allah is Al-Musawwir. He is the creator, the painter, the originator, and so many forms of beauty and their perfect proportions. The National Geographic programs on TV always bring to me a new glimpse of natural beauty. I love it. It is amazing indeed. Yes, students, as I told you before, this is a sample essay. Topic is television. You should prepare it for your examination. When you read it a few times, it will be ready. Language is easy, as you have seen. If you find a word with which you are not familiar, consult your dictionary. Yes, students, after this, these are direct, indirect. We have done it before. To show you here, it means they are available in your book. Review it. You can see here present indefinite changes into past indefinite when we change direct narration into indirect. In the same way, present continuous into past continuous, present perfect into past perfect, past indefinite into past perfect, will shall changes into would should. After this, the next level is when there is a reporting question. There is a question. He said, will you listen to me? We have done it before. Rules are given here in front of you. Examples are given. We have read all these examples also. Yes, we have done it. Where do you live? She inquired of them where they lived. Yes, students, this is the exercise that we are going to do today. Here you can see in reported speech there is a question. It is written, she said, is this your book? She asked me if the book was mine. He said, do you have any share in this firm? He asked me if I had any share in that firm. Dear students, here you can write if, here you can write whether, as I have written here in part number 4. Part number 3, they said, have you ever visited Murray Hills? They asked me if I had ever visited Murray Hills. He said, aren't you ashamed of yourself? He asked me whether I was not ashamed of myself. The teacher said, did you do your home task yesterday? The teacher asked me if I had done my home task the day before. You know very well, yesterday is changed into the day before. This is part number 6 of the same exercise. The mother said, didn't I ask you not to go there? The mother asked if she had not said to me not to go there. Here you can write forbidden also. Rehanna said, will you stop interfering in my work? Rehanna asked me if I would stop interfering in her work. My work will change into her work. The mother said, shall we invite the Qurayshis also? The mother inquired if we would invite the Qurayshis also. Adnan said, had you left Karachi before writing this letter? Adnan inquired if I had left Karachi before writing that letter. The judge said, have you anything more to say? The judge inquired whether I had anything more to say. Yes, students, these are the remaining sentences. I shall not give you written answer, but I shall tell you answers. You can understand it very well. He said, what do you want me to do? He asked me. Dear students, you can try to understand. He said, what do you want me to do? He asked me what I want him to do. He said, what do you want me to do? He asked me what I want him to do. This me will change into him. The mother said, how did you fare in your examination? The mother asked, how did I fared in my examination? Raza said, where are you going? Raza asked where I was going. The teacher said, whose is this book? The teacher asked whose book that was. The teacher said, who is the author of this book? The teacher asked who the author of that book was. The stranger said, which is the way to Shalimar Garden? The stranger asked which way to Shalimar Garden was. The manager said, how do you propose to solve this problem? The manager asked how I proposed to solve that problem. The boy said, what do you want me to do? The boy asked what I wanted him to do. The pupil said, where have I eased? The pupil asked where they had eased. The teacher said, who is next on list? The teacher inquired who the next on list was. Dear students, we have done that exercise. I think you have developed better understanding of direct and indirect. This is to do once in a life, as I told you before. Learn it once, it will help you for your whole life in each class. We are doing slowly. We have done about 3 parts. We shall continue in our next lesson also. After that, we have come to our book now, dear students. This is Unit 8. The lesson is Peace. Peace is the name of the poem. We have read this poem. We have done some exercises. And to do the next exercise, it is important to get some understanding of gerund phrase. Dear students, gerund you know very well. Gerund is used as a noun. And how we make it? We make by adding ing. You can see here increasing. Increasing is a gerund. Okay, then if increasing is a gerund, what is gerund phrase? Let us try to understand. The gerund phrase include the gerund and the object of the gerund or any modifiers related to the gerund. In the following example, the gerund is bold and the gerund phrase is underlined. The student gathered signatures for increasing the hours of the library. Dear students, increasing is gerund, but when we say gerund phrase, this increasing will also be underlined. This is a little mistake, you know very well. Gerund phrase is gerund and object of the gerund. The hours is object of the gerund and gerund will include also in the gerund phrase. I think you know now. After this, we are here to understand infinitive phrase. The infinitive phrase include the infinitive and the object of the infinitive. Example is here. Infinitive is bold and this is the infinitive object. We shall underline the whole to find out infinitive phrase. In the same way, here is prepositional phrase. Preposition is bold here and this is the object of the preposition. We shall underline the whole to mark the prepositional phrase. Dear students, this is the exercise. In this exercise, we are set to identify gerund phrases, infinitive phrases, and prepositional phrases. Part number 1, Maria fell over the cat. Over the cat, you know very well. Over is the preposition, it will be prepositional phrase. The strikers held a meeting to discuss the terms of the employers. To discuss is infinitive and it will whole be infinitive phrase. Part number 3, after learning. Learning is gerund, you know very well. If learning is gerund, then the whole will be gerund phrase. Will someone be here soon? To open is infinitive, then the whole will be infinitive phrase. Talha visited Turkey while studying the history of Turkish art. Of is preposition and the whole will become prepositional phrase. Let us move forward. Dear students, this is part number 6. Before putting too much, putting is gerund and the whole will become gerund phrase. Does the captain want us to lower? To lower is infinitive and the whole will become infinitive phrase. This is oral communication, dear students. It is important. I think this topic is coming for the first time in front of you. Stress pattern, use of weak forms, stress placement, and timing. First, you need to understand which words are generally stressed and which are not stressed. Dear students, you should know what are content words, what are function words. Content words are also called stress words, and they are nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. All these are called content words. All these are called content words. We stress them. Okay, stress. What is stress? I'm sorry, I could not tell you before. Stress, I should have told you in the beginning. Stress is when we read a word louder than the others. For example, when we read a sentence, we read noun, verb, adjective, and adverb louder than other words. What are other words which are not stressed, which are not pronounced more loudly? Here are function words which are not stressed. They are determiners. For example, a, some, a few, auxiliary verbs, don't, am, can, prepositions, conjunctions, and pronouns are not stressed. They are called function words. Dear students, when we change the stress, the meaning of the whole sentence changes. The same sentence can take on different meanings depending on where the speaker chooses to place the primary stress. For example, here one sentence is given, I'm not going, I'm not going. Okay, we have three options. We can stress I'm, we can stress not, we can stress going. All these three will have different meanings. You can see here, when I stress I'm, I'll pronounce it like this. I'm not going. What does it mean? It means not me, but perhaps you, she, or he is going. Do you understand? When I stress I'm, it means I'm not going, but someone else is going. Now I stress not. How shall I pronounce? I'm not going. What does it mean? I refuse to go. I'm not going. What does it mean? When I stress going, it means not going, maybe coming. I think you have got some idea. When we change the stress, the whole sentence gives us different meaning. That is the thing. It is important to understand. Okay, for oral communication, this exercise is given. There are two people. One is A, other is B. Usually we do it in the class. A student become A, the other student become B. And they perform it while standing in the front of the class. But as we are not here, you can try to understand. You can do it by joining with your friend on phone. That is possible. You will try to understand here what we stress. It is very common, as we have studied. We stress noun, adjective, verb, and adverb. You can do it by joining your friend on phone, or as you like. If you visit your friend or you go to your friend, it can be done in that way also. This is writing skill section, and we are said to write the central idea of this poem. Dear students, to write the central idea, I shall read it for you first of all, then we shall discuss. This short poem has been written by Dr. Hartman. In this poem, the poetess says that we have to experience storms to enjoy peace, Nature teaches us lessons through the wind, water, mountains, and light. Wind in the form of storm roars and smashes everything. In its rage, it destroys trees, fields, and buildings. But when it is gentle and cool, it gives lives to birds, and humans. Yes, you may have recalled your memory and you are feeling, yes, we have read all these things in the poem. That is the central idea of the poem. This is exercise B. In this exercise, we are set to paraphrase the stanzas of the poem. This question come in your 9th class. In this class, it will not come, but it is given here. And you are very much familiar to paraphrase the stanza. When you are writing paraphrase, you change the sequence of the words, write the stanza in paragraph form. For example, the first stanza, if I write the reference, I shall say these lines have been taken from poem Peace, written by Dr. Sylvia Hartman. This is the full name. Context is the poem depicts the two aspects of wind. Paraphrasing is given here. As I told you, you rearrange the sequence of the words, that will become paraphrase. And this is second stanza. Again, reference. Reference means from where this is taken. And what is the context? Context means what is going on in the poem. The poem depicts the two aspects of wind. One is smashing, killing, destroying, but the other is peace. It gives peace, it gives life to the living beings. Yes, students, after that, this is exercise C. In this exercise, we are set to write the summary. When we are writing the summary of the poem, we shall mention each and everything that is mentioned in the poem. We shall include all little by little, but in short. We shall write everything in short to complete the summary of the poem. I shall read it for you. You will come to know how it is written. Peace is a single metaphor poem. The wind has been personified. Metaphor, when we declare one thing as another. Personified, personification is when we refer human qualities to non-living or non-human things. First as demon and then as lover. Both aspects of wind have found a place in the poem. In this poem, the poetess says that wind in the form of storm smashes everything in its rage. It demolishes trees, fields, and buildings and leaves. The debris spins in the air. It destroys everything mercilessly. It thunders and screams in its winny voice. But when the wind is gentle and cool, it gives life to birds and humans. It imparts sweet sensations of every beautiful thing. It makes everything feel quiet and calm. Though windstorm brings disaster, we have to experience it to enjoy peace. There lies peace in depth of this disaster. Yes, students, this was the summary. After reading it, you might have come to know that we have studied all these things in the poem. This is exercise D, and we are set to write an account of a natural disaster. You can say this is like an essay. In fact, we are set to write an essay containing 170 to 200 words. We shall explain in this essay about the disasters that we have faced in our country. I shall read main points of this essay for you, then you can, this will be as a sample for you, you can add in it, leave from it. Pakistan is facing natural disasters since its inception. The different kinds of disasters like floods, earthquakes, and droughts. The flood in 1972 was the most destructive and catastrophic that made more than 5 million people homeless. Then in 2010, the severity of this natural calamity was more than in the past. 1/4 part of Pakistan was affected by this flood and more than 10 million people remained homeless. The southern part of the country, which is agriculture based and has poor people, faced its worst history. In 2005, earthquake in northern areas hit the vast population. Almost 1 million people died and 5 million lost their homes and businesses. These disasters affect every tier of life as economic, social, financial and agricultural. Pakistan's economy that was already in worst condition has become poorer than the past. The growth of Pakistan's economy in 2006-07 was almost 6% annually, but now it is only 3%. The flood of 2010 has severely smashed the agriculture sector, which is the backbone of Pakistan. More than 60% population of the country depends upon the agriculture sector. The exports like textile goods and wheat are also directly tied to this sector. So that industrial sector also has been gone one step back instead of ahead. There is less aid from the international community because of the world's financial crisis, so it makes harder for Pakistan to meet its future developmental targets. Now Pakistan has to cut its developmental budget and has to construct the destructive areas also. Dear students, this was exercise D. It was an essay in fact. Dear students, in your homework you will learn and write essay television, and after that you will do exercise of direct indirect from grammar that we did today. And don't forget to do exercises of chapter 8 that we have done today. Dear students, that is all from our today's lesson. See you later in a new lesson. Goodbye.